4 children. You're the wife, mother, COO, and you've really built your business. Like the cornerstone of it has been faith.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Yeah, it has been. I grew up in the church. My husband, not my husband, my father is a pastor.
Oh, you a PK?
Yes,
Oh,
I
so
am.
you was wilding out as a teenager.
I
No,
was. No,
you was
no,
getting.
I was
Listen,
actually really good. When I got my 20s, that's when I gave my mother and father the biggest headaches. But
really,
yes,
the 99s and the 2000s, baby. You was
yes,
I already know.
1993. Okay, when I was hiding that pregnancy. Okay. And I came home. I came home for Christmas break. I didn't tell my parents I was pregnant. I was a junior in college, and they didn't know. And I was on a full scholarship. They worked so hard. I didn't say nothing. I hadn't been to one doctor's appointment. I was probably 6 or 7 months pregnant. Didn't even have prenatal care. Didn't say nothing to nobody. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's when I gave them the headaches. But
I know that had to be so weighty to carry that as like that secret.
Yeah. Because I don't even know if I said anything to my roommate. Maybe she knew. I know they had to see I was getting fat, but
they was like, she just eating in the cab.
Yes, eating it up.
Where'd you go to school?
Spelman.
Yeah, so you had fried chicken Fridays. It was
yes, the food was good in the cafeteria.
Listen,
My kids hate that cafeteria.
Back there. Listen, Jada went to Spelman, so I already know. I went to Hampton my first 2 years. I already know.
Okay.
Fried chicken Fridays or Wednesdays or something, baby. They had all the food.
Yes, yes. So they didn't know that I was pregnant. But I finally had to tell them and before I came back to school. And of course, they told me all the things that I knew they were going to tell me. But also, they just kind of jumped into action and supported me, made sure I got my butt back in school, made sure I finished, made sure I graduated. I even graduated early and with honors, went to graduate school, all the things. And so somebody just asked me recently, well, Ronnie, like, what was it in you that made you, stick with your goals and continue on? And I was like, that's always been me. Like, I've always been the type of person that I had to do my business first. I had to do my homework first and party later. That was that. But that wasn't the only thing. It was my parents. They supported me. It wasn't even a thought from my mom to say, okay, you got this baby, quit Spelman, get down here, take care of this baby because I'm not going to do it. My mom was in her 40s and I was her youngest. So she was free, but she took my baby, made me go back to Spelman. So where was she when I was at Spelman? She was going to daycare before she went to work. She was taking care of my child. She was like knocked all the way back into being a mother of a newborn child so I could finish school.
Wow.
And so that was one of the biggest things, and that's one of the lessons I learned is that to sacrifice for your kids and to do those things. And so I learned that from my mother. I would do that for my kids. Thank God they haven't done anything like that. I'm not a grandma right now, but I learned that from my parents, and like not to stop. Why should I stop? They sacrifice so much. I have to do good.
Yeah, that is so good because. We don't give the village enough credit sometimes, right? When they sacrifice and save us from ourselves.
Right. And I don't even know if they even know like how much I appreciate because, of course, I was a brat the whole time.
Yeah.
I probably wasn't as appreciative. They kind of stuck it out. It paid off. Thank you, Mom and Dad. But but I really appreciate them.
Ooh, that's an unconditional love, baby. Listen. Yes. I mean, the unconditional love, the sacrifice. I mean, you and Lamar met, and you already had a child. You already had.
I already had two kids.
Children.
Yes.
Yeah. And so talk about that sacrifice and that love and blending this family together.
Yes. So first of all, thank God for Lamar. He's not one of these guys that's out here saying, I don't want a woman with kids.
Oh, listen, they out here, ain't they?
Listen, Lamar is living his whole 7-figure life. And okay, I had 2 kids when we met, all right? And I do think it's because we met and because of our relationship, we've built what we've built. And so you could be blocking your blessing by just blanketly saying that you don't want a woman with kids, right? Because you don't know what she's been through. And I'm not like the sum of that one choice where I got pregnant, right? Yes, I made some decisions over here, but I'm still a hard worker. And when he met me, I had a great job. I was on my second home. I took care of my kids. I was very self-sufficient. And so when you say that, you're leaving out a whole segment of society. You could, join with a woman with kids and build something very great. And so I hate to see a person that really discounts another person because of their past, right? I see so many women out there saying, I don't want to be married again. Well, honey, if I had taken that attitude, I wouldn't be with Lamar, and he treats me so good. And so you don't want to be with a loser again. You don't want to be with that person
a dusty.
Again. So a dusty, a crusty, all right? So just watch how you put that out there in the atmosphere. And so sometimes I correct women. I say, well, do you really just not like marriage? Because if you could be with a man that did this, did that, would you want that? And they say, yeah. So why are you putting that out there? Right? So why don't you say, I don't want that experience again? Yeah. So anyway, I didn't answer your question. I went off on a rant.
No, I really think you did. Because this is the thing. So we're in a space where we are inundated with messages all day long. Right. I mean, we turn on these phones, we turn on these tablets, and everybody has a message, I just, saw a post yesterday that says, stop giving these men a microphone. So it's always a message, out here. But we get to choose what we take in and what we say we're going to live by. And I think that you are giving women so much permission in this conversation to say, wait a minute, I can have more. Right. I can do more. I can experience something else. I'm not the sum of my choices. I get to choose again.
Exactly. Yeah. You're not the sum of your choices. And I've never felt like ashamed of myself or embarrassed because I'm really confident in who I am. I've always done better. I've always been above average. I've always had good grades. I'm going to make it happen. And so people just need to know to rely on themselves, their core characteristics, and know that you're going to be okay. Even if you're messed up, even if you're going through a bad time right now, just think back on how you've overcome to this point. You're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you meet Lamar? Because there's somebody who's out there saying, well, I got 2 kids, I'm divorced, I already come with stuff. How did you meet him? Because there's a story.
Yeah, there is a story. It's so funny. I probably played it all wrong. So first of all, Lamar, I had a friend that I grew up with. I went to elementary school, middle school, high school with her. I was living in the Atlanta area, and Lamar was living in the D.C. area. He was her coworker. And so she was having a little kickback. That's what the kids say. We say get together at her house, right? So she was having a little get together at her house, really for her friends, because she had a lot of friends that were born in December. I was born in December. Lamar was born in December. And she was like, Ronnie's coming to town. Let's have a December birthday party for all of our friends. And so she invited Lamar, some other ladies. She invited me. Well, I had a newborn. And so I came to that. I came to that actual party with a baby on my lap. So when I met Lamar, I was the lady in the room with the baby on her lap. Okay. And so I saw him across the room. He was kikiing with some other ladies. He was playing spades and stuff like that. So the first time we met, we only said hi to each other. And I don't know what kind of impression I made because, again, I had a baby with me. But the next time I came to town to visit her, we went to the club. We were at DC Live or something, Love or something like that. One of those clubs.
You ain't had your baby then.
No, I did not. I was looking cute. And I was there and I was with her. And then he was with another one of his guy friends. And we were dancing and stuff. And Lamar was like, hey, when I come to your town, I'm going to look you up because he had a traveling job. And he knew I was from Newport News, the Tidewater area. And he was like, I have an assignment coming up in that area. So when I come to that area, I'm going to look you up. And I was like, okay. So I gave him my number. He didn't come for 2 months. He didn't call me for 2 months.
Wow.
And so, but he called me and he was like, hey, this is Lamar. And so we went out and the rest was history.
And y'all been together ever since?
Ever since. He proposed after 11 months.
So to all the ladies out there.
That's what I'm saying.
Because he ain't
and
called.
He younger too. He younger too, ladies.
Okay, how many years younger?
4 years.
Okay, yeah. 4 years. I've done a little, okay, I ain't going to go there. I ain't tell my business, Ronnie. But for all these ladies out here who are watching this, he ain't called in 2 days? we can't count him out.
No,
he ain't called in 3, 4, 5 days. You can't count him out. This man didn't call for 2 months.
2 months.
And he said, I know what I like. Yes. And I see it, I want it.
He was like, I was a man of my word. I was like, whatever. I thought it was weird, but he said but he did.
If that blessed you, trust me, you've only scratched the surface. There's so much more wisdom, truth, and transformation waiting in the full conversation. Click the link in the caption below to watch the entire interview. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you never miss an episode of Vault Empowers Talks.